guys, I hope you are all well today. Do say hi if you've just joined me. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about happiness. I heard a quote the other day that says, it said that you don't find happiness, you create it. And that really stuck with me, because when you say it like that, it makes happiness like a purposeful action. And you know, there's a lot going on in the world at the moment, guys, and I'm not really going to talk about that because it's everywhere. It's on the news and that sort of thing. But there's never been as good a time as now to be happy and to make happiness a purposeful action. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. And when we talk about finding happiness, that kind of implies that it's something that we have no control over, that it's something that we just kind of stumble across, or something that turns up when it feels like it. And while that can be a nice thought, that happiness might just, you know, turn up and surprise us, you know, it's... The thought I like better is that we can purposely cultivate a life that is designed around the things that make us happy. Morning, Jackie. Lovely to see you. Yes, I'm happy the sun is shining too. It makes a change from all the rain we've been having. And if we create our own happiness, that got me thinking about, you know, what we could be doing to purposefully increase the amount of happiness in our lives, because ultimately I think that's all most of us want, right? Is to be happy and you know, and content. So, you know, whatever life, you know, whatever that happiness and that contentment looks like to each of us. So something is coming up on my phone. I can see, Georgia, that you're watching, and something is coming up on my phone to say that I can invite you to join me. Now, I'm not sure if you've accidentally pressed a button or if you want me to request for you to join me. So I'm gonna press that button there. And I'm gonna see if I can add you in. This is a bit of an experiment, guys. We just, okay, George is saying that's odd. So I'm guessing that she didn't want to be added into the video. Okay, so I'm going to press the little there next to the adding button. Sorry about that glitch, guys. So I'm just talking about, you know, this notion that we can create for ourselves in our lives. And I'm just saying, you know, if we create our own happiness, or if we can create our own happiness, it's kind of got me thinking about, you know, what we could be doing purposely to increase the amount of happiness in our lives. You know, because I think you ask anyone, and that ultimately is what people will say they want from their lives, you know, to be happy and content, and you know, and that's kind of like what most of us want. Now, these are just my thoughts. You can take from it what you want. These are, you know, just my musings. But if it gets you thinking about how you can increase the amount of happiness in your own lives, then that's all good. Okay, so most of us probably don't believe that we need a formal definition of happiness. We just know it when we feel it, right? And the word happiness is actually often used to describe a range of positive emotions like joy, pride, contentment, gratitude. When you actually look up the definition of happiness, you get a range of different things come up, because I think happiness is something that is, you know, everyone has a slightly different take on it. The dictionary definition will just tell you that happiness is a state of being happy, which, while that is true, it's not necessarily helpful if you are trying to cultivate more of it in your life. The definition that I like is that happiness is the experience of joy, contentment, or positive well-being, combined with the sense that one's life is good, meaningful, and worthwhile. Now, I really like that definition. That really kind of hits home for me. And what I wanted to do today is just share with you like my top 5 tips on how to be happy. But ultimately what makes us happy is going to be individual to each of us. So even if this post kind of starts you thinking about, you know, what your top 5 tips are for being happy, then that's all good too. So tip number 1, purposefully include joyful activities in your everyday life. Don't just wait for the weekend. Don't just wait to have a holiday from work or to be on holiday. Do something you enjoy every single day, multiple times a day if you can. You might want to start by actively identifying what you consider a joyful activity to be. I would class it as something that makes you forget about your everyday worries, makes you forget about, you know, takes you away from your responsibilities and makes your heart feel warm. For me, that might look like spending time with animals. Those of you that work with me at Westcliff will know that you quite often find me sitting in the chicken coop with the chickens. You know, spending time with animals is a real anxiety reliever for me. For some of you guys, I know that might look like creating something or being artistic or baking or, you know, whatever that joyful thing is for you. You know, happiness is not a constant state of being. You know, just because we don't feel happy all of the time, you know, it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with that. It would be unrealistic to, you know, think that we could be happy all of the time. You know, and it's not a destination either. Happiness is not a feeling that comes over us when we've done everything that we need to do. You know, I don't know if you can see this, but I saw this the other day on you know, one of the socials, and if you imagine that this glass of water is life, I'm hoping you can see this. You know, this juice is all of the little joyful moments. If you see, the more little joyful moments you put into your glass of water, you know, the stronger and more present that happiness will be. I like my Ribena strong. I like my life with lots of joyful moments in. I liked that little visual aid. I'm going to put that over there and drink that later. So yeah, that's number 1. So do the things that make you happy every day. Don't just, you know, wait till the weekend to earn them or wait until you're on holiday to earn them. You know, do the things that that are going to make your heart feel warm. Okay, number 2, actively practice gratitude. I've said this before. I think probably most of my videos have got, you know, some sort of tip on practicing being grateful, because I think it benefits us in lots and lots of different ways. But you cannot experience joy without being grateful. It's just not possible, and you can't be grateful and angry at the same time either. You know, we all take things for granted. We do. I know I do. And now more than ever, I think a lot of us are realising maybe how good we had it before. You know, now that, you know, our normal life has been stripped back to basics and we can't do a lot of the things that we used to do. You know, I think it's probably making a lot of us, you know, feel really grateful for the things that, you know, we can't now do. You know, don't wait until something has been taken away to realise how great it is. notice it and appreciate it. You know, now is a really good time for that. Now that a lot of our lives have been, you know, stripped back to basics, it's, you know, notice the good things that you have around you that are there no matter what. You know, when you start to be really grateful for the things in your life, it really starts to, you know, it really starts to open us up to the joy that those simple things bring. You know, that not just the people in our lives, our family, our friends, our pets, our homes, you know, but the flowers that are starting to shoot up in the garden, or, you know, the sounds of wildlife that's, you know, louder than ever at the moment. You know, the taste of, you know, a really nice cup of tea. You know, anything, the sounds of, you know, your kids playing from upstairs. You know, start writing this stuff down. You know, when you get up, write 3 things down that you're grateful for, or do it before you go to bed. You know, what you end up doing is you end up spending your day actively looking for things that you're grateful for, because you know you've got to write them down, and it just really changes your whole perspective. When we talk about happiness, I think a lot of us are looking for these like extraordinary moments, when actually, you know, happiness is often found in those small, joyful, grateful moments. And there's a great quote that says, it's not joy that makes us grateful, it's gratitude that makes us joyful. And I really like that. So, you know, I try and be as grateful as possible, but I know, you know, I'm really going to try and kind of be more present and be more grateful and more thankful for the simple things that are, you know, in my life and in your lives. And yeah, I think now's a good time for that. Number 3, monitor your use of social media. I need to work on this too. I think often we can compare our lives with what we see online, and it can make us feel, you know, a bit inadequate sometimes, a bit less than. Other people, you know, often appear to have these great lives, and they appear to have it all together, and they look so happy. It's really important to remember that people only show you what they choose to show you. Quite often that will be, you know, a snippet from their day. Quite often it will be a snippet from their day that's taken you know, a long time to put together to show on you know, Instagram or Facebook. You know, other people aren't going to show you the bad times or the days that they're struggling, or the days when they don't feel happy at all with their lives. And so don't compare yourself, or don't compare or measure your own success against what, you know, a snippet of someone else's lives that they're choosing to show you on social media. And even if someone else genuinely is really happy and has it all together, then that's great for them, and you can be happy for them. But you don't have to use that as a stick to beat yourself with and a stick to measure yourself against. Comparison is the thief of joy, so just watch how much time and energy you're giving to looking at someone else's life and comparing yourself against it. Number 4, focus on what is within your control. Many of us focus on what's out of our control, and a lot is out of our control at the moment, and just generally as well. Like, there's a lot of stuff that we can't control, but when we only think about those things, it can really get in the way of our happiness, because it drains our energy, meaning we don't have energy left to do the things that bring us joy and happiness. So when you notice yourself thinking that way, turn your attention to things that are within your control. You know, that might look like writing a worry list and then making a plan for the things that you can do something about. You know, we're in a global pandemic. There's nothing that, you know, I can do about that. There's nothing any of us can do about that. But I can use this time to, deep clean my house or sort out that cupboard that I've been putting off forever, or learn a new skill or catch up with my friends, or slow down and reevaluate what's important to me. So, use this time to, focus on the things that you can do something about. And number 5, the final tip for today is to practice self-acceptance. None of us are perfect, and what a boring world it would be if we were. Perfect in itself is subjective, because what's perfect to one person will be the opposite of perfect to another person. And when I say self-acceptance, it means accepting yourself for the good parts and the bad. We've all got flaws, and that's part of what makes the world beautiful, is that we're all different. But if you're constantly putting yourself down or comparing yourself to others, it can colour your world in a shade of negativity, which is just really not helpful, and it's really not conducive to letting that joy and happiness into your world. Each of us are different. Like I said, we all have flaws as well as really great qualities, and accepting this about ourselves and also about other people can make us a lot happier. When I say that, it's about accepting that other people, aren't perfect, and other people have flaws, and sometimes other people won't do what they say they're going to do. And it's, someone said to me once that you'll be a lot happier when you accept that everyone is trying the very best that they can, and that's true. I know we've got a lot of perfectionists out there, but when you stop expecting yourself to be perfect and accept yourself for who you are, then that offers the kind and supportive environment that you need to access yourself and make changes if you need to, from a place of acceptance rather than judgment. Carl Rogers was this really famous psychotherapist, and he said, and I love this quote, "The curious paradox is that when I accept myself just as I am, then I can change." And it's really true. That change happens when you love and accept yourself. So yeah, that's my 5th and final tip. That's all from me, guys. The weather is looking decidedly better today, which is all good. I hope that you all have a pleasant and rewarding day. If anyone's watching this and you want to pop a comment in and tell me what makes you happy or what helps you to access that joy in life, then please do. You never know who it might help. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Bye.